when you are online, the school needs to support both school and home mentoring, which means that the parents also need support in the area. So the teacher's role gets bigger when we go to the blended learning area, and that is what I'm trying to say, is that the teacher's responsibility of individual students is increasing when you go more and more to blended learning, which means that teachers need these hybrid teaching skills more and more. So basic factors of web-based educations are: you need materials, online materials, what are online, or then you need very good guidebooks where you can use the traditional textbooks. So teacher needs to give very strict instructions about it. So you need study guidance, you need very good correspondence with between studies. Then there need to be motivation also for the students. And one of the biggest thing of motivation is that the learning ought to be fun. And that means that study planning and a benefit for every lesson ought to be there. And it, in the beginning, it need to be explained to both the students and the parents, because parents have also this legacy of the traditional game school. And then, of course, the opportunity how to participate. Is there time, place? Are the skills enough? Is there technology to really participate and learn from the blended learning situation? And when this triangle is full, then you can start thinking that, okay, here is a place where I can implement this blended learning and start using it. So what it means that you have to change some of your curricula goals in new ways. I just had a meeting with one country's educational ministry, and they were thinking about changing half of the content of the curricula to the 21st skills, which means that they were thinking about new learning skills, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication, 4Cs, how they can implement these. Then the new literacy skills, information, media, and technology, and then life skills, flexibility, leadership, productivity, social skills, and initiative, so the responsibility. And when they were thinking about this, they were thinking cutting half of the content of the traditional curricula out. Okay, that's very radical, but that's something what we did in Finland. We started the curricular development in 1994, and the first sentence of our new curriculum basis was that start cutting the content. Now we have, after this we have updated our curriculum now for 8 times, and we got the new curricula 2016. And guess what is the first sentence in the basis? It says start cutting the content. So still after 25 years we are cutting the content, and that is what it means, because we don't need so much textbooks anymore. There are plenty of other skills which are more important for the future generation in our society. So what that means from the teacher's point of view, there are huge amount of skills and practices what teacher need to learn upon the training what he or she has had. There are plenty of different kind of skills which need to be learned and then retaught to the students, and that is the biggest dilemma. So we need to teach the new skills, and before you can teach, you need to learn these skills very hard. So in practice, this is one of the Finnish platform where teachers are trained. So there are things like e-mentoring, p-learning, storytelling, applications for learning, new tools, new rules, new code conduct, collaborative writing, online learning, 3D printing. These kind of courses are now available or has been available to Finnish teachers quite a long time. But this gives you a picture what kind of new skills every teacher needs for blended learning situation. So if you think about what you need from the institutional side, the first thing is something which is called web storage, where teacher can upload the material and where the students can send their work so that the teacher can evaluate them online. And of course, there need to be some kind of live teaching tools like this Zoom or other video conferencing tools where we can share things and give this kind of online lectures, which can be then recorded for those who couldn't participate, who were absent of the live session, and they can look it afterwards. And then you need new interaction methods. So it's not enough that you have this web storage or live teaching tool. You need interaction methods like sending group messages or using WhatsApp or other tools with the communication and creating different kind of groups. So there's plenty of things you need to build on which you can then build your blended learning. So what it does mean studying in cloud means that you have to have some storage, cloud storage, which means that there are free services like Dropbox or iCloud or other clouds. There are free learning platforms like Moodle or other things. Then you need online tools where which teachers can create their content and lessons, and also students can then do the assignments like Office 365 or Google Drive or Ethernet, which is totally free tool online. Then you need e-materials. There are plenty of open educational resources. The YouTube is full of materials. There are plenty of e-books. And then the role of the teacher is in the middle of this everything, orchestrating the triangle of school, student, and parents, and try to create everybody a personal learning environment. So teacher is more like a curator of materials, and he or she is bringing out the right kind of packages to every individual student so that everybody can create their own personal learning path and speed. And that means that you need to create a strategy for education institute, and also every teacher need to create a strategy how to implement this. And the strategy is like three-leg chair. You have three very strong legs. And the first is, of course, technology. And it's the easiest leg. But if you only put the technology in the school and say that, okay, now we have this kind of virtual school, you can't get anything, because then you need to train the teachers. And the teacher training is quite hard, because teachers are not very easy group of people to train, because the teachers are the only group of the workers who can't train the new skills in the working time, because then they need to take care of the children and teach them. So you can't do two things at the same. You have to be very flexible with the teacher training. And in Finland, we have implemented new way to train the teachers, and that's this kind of social micro learning, when you learn small things which you then implement in your daily work, and after that you reflect it with your colleagues. So you train your teachers, you have the technology, but nothing happens. Why is that? Because if you don't develop your curriculum so that the curriculum also supports the new way of teaching, new way of evaluation, new way of graduating, and new ways of spending time around the learning and teaching, nothing will happen. And that is could say the one big stone in a soup, because in most cases the organizations are ready to buy technology. They might also train a little bit teachers, but the curriculum always is the same that it has been 10 or 15 years. And if it doesn't say anything about implementing ICT or blended learning and how to get out the could say the results which are needed for the learning goals, then no teacher will use these new skills, because the traditional way is the only way that is approved by the society. Then, of course, you need the support for all this. You need the technological support, you need the pedagogical support for teachers, and also support how the curricula will be implemented in the educational system. So this is always quite a long period, and as I said, in Finland we solved this problem with this 3 years period. So there was every level of the school was 3 years period, and after 3 years the whole system was had the one round through, and everybody had changed the basic things. But you can't do it like a flashlight. It's very slow process, and you have to prepare it quite well. Okay, so the plan is that you start studying and learning at home. It can be blended or it can be hybrid. The easiest way to start is, as the Chinese old fairy tale says, that every trip or every journey start with the first step. So finding the easiest and cheapest way to execute and start the process is the only way to start. The smallest possible change in teachers' work is the most recommended way. So I always say that 10% of changing the teaching in this new way is enough in the beginning, because in very short time, you get more confident and you start doing it. But what it needs very short and simple instructions, examples, videos, etc., so that they can be delivered to the parents, and also they can be shared with colleagues and developed by that kind. But that means that the organization or institution has to have confidence to one's professionalism and support the work. Support plan has to be there, and everybody has to be very reliable on that. And the big thing is also that every time you have to start learning new way of planning your work, because you have to have the backup plans like A, B, and C. So if you try to do something with online and it doesn't work, you have to have a plan B or plan C that you can achieve the learning goals. And then you need the extension plan, how the new ways of teaching and learning can be and will be used in the future. And for that, you need courage. So minimum techniques is that you have to have some online platform, some virtual classroom, some your own laptop microphone, just laptop camera is enough. And for students, laptop and mobile phones are enough if the content is designed for those. And one big thing what we have learned by heart is that everybody ought to use headsets. Otherwise, the sound will start going around, or there are plenty of different things. So how to design these and implement these lessons? The lesson planning is the most important thing in the beginning. The teachers need to cut down the goals as much as possible and beforehand think how they can, after the lesson, measure that everybody has learned the goals. So what is the most important lesson to be learned in the lesson, and who are the learners, what they can achieve, how the students can be taught, and how this will be proceeded, and what kind of feedback the teacher can give to the students. And of course, the big thing is that how much the students have previous experience of studying online. Then the lesson structuring design is one of the biggest thing, because you need to have plan for how long you teach, what kind of breaks, plan for breaks and breaks for questions, room for questioning and things like that. So the big thing is that online teaching shouldn't be like I'm giving you 1 hour's lecture. It ought to be cut in 10 minutes slots maximum, and smaller the children are or people are, the shorter the sets or the modules ought to be, and every part you have to have some kind of break for brain break or physical activity or whatever. So then it starts to work. And then when you create a lesson, you have to do the planning quite a lot at advanced, and mostly you have to use quite big fonts and key points on the slides, and avoid different colors, for example. These are the practical things. You need to keep your eye contact to the camera if you are speaking to the children. Otherwise, you do lose the contact. So there are plenty of different things you need to start thinking, and then of course you need to listen and see the questions and ask clear questions if you have a group of things. And then you have to think that online teaching is like broadcasting the teaching. So it's like a television program where the teacher is the director, and he or she has to choose what is the screen picture, television picture, what the students see. And that needs in the beginning very much planning. So what kind of pictures you are using, what happens during the broadcasting, and what does the learner see in their screen, when are the interaction things. The lessons, what I said, that it ought to be as easy to the teachers as possible. The teachers are very expert to give lectures and live broadcast. And for example, this 1 hour lecture is something what is now recorded, and there is a live saving what can be then learned, so the people who are absent can see the raw video. But it's very easy to start developing this, and this video can be then indexed in smaller pieces, for example, on topics, and this can be then shared as a learning expert summary. So everything is not there, only those parts which are needed. And the third version is that you create outside content, outside learning object and other materials, tests and things, and then you can use it as a self-learning or online course to replace the expert lectures and this kind of face-to-face teaching. So here is a short sample of a video lesson. You start with news, and very important is that you also greet everybody who is in your classroom, not in this case when there are plenty of people, but if you are with your home group, you start with homework or school news, then you give first lesson, which is about 10 minutes, then silent work, what the teacher can give in small groups or breakout rooms or other places, and then the class can be in discussion, the second part of lesson, then summary and reflection and instructions for homework and other things. So what we have been doing is that we have been creating this kind of teacher's lesson plan where there's a time category and what is happening, what is the target of the session, and then what is the content and so on. And when you follow this, you also can be as a director. So following the control plan, you will show what in the other end the students will see. Will they see the teacher's face or slides or videos, or is there offline session, is there other things? So this is this plan for teacher to direct this lesson. So experiences, there has been, as said, there has been quite a lot of research done already in this area, and from teachers' point of view, there hasn't been any diminishing with the students' performance. It's the benefit is that the teachers think that their professional skills have been developed quite a lot, and when they are sharing different materials, they also start to share with their colleagues this information, and students can be more supported individually when they are not in the classroom. And the students are also more active to ask questions. On the other hand, the students can be very quiet. You have to be very could say very smart in this case, that you ask them to show the camera in some places, because otherwise they are quiet and they are doing something else, and the faceless and duplication interaction is very dangerous. So the workload will increase for the teacher in the beginning, but when you start learning these things, then you are getting better and better in this area. The challenge is also that there are different schedules between the schools, such as breaks and things, and it's also inside the school if there is limited possibility. So you have to create different kind of timetables for the live sessions, for example, if you have limited number of virtual learning places. The student exam experiences are quite similar. In the center, the concentration improves. The studying is fundamentally different, so they need to learn new things. The refreshing variations gives more motive, and online conversations with students is nice because it's faceless things, because when you don't have this social pressure as in the classroom, the conversations are not other way around. The conversations are much more easier to rise with the students. And cons, of course, the lack of interaction, it gives very bad moments. It's very tiring, so the teacher has to be very active and kicking around the students, so everybody, not everything fits in the same picture. Is very good said, that every student need to be thought individually and supported, so you need to support them with the other channels also. So you have to open channels with individual students in those areas where they are being able to connect it. Somebody is in Messenger, somebody is in WhatsApp, so you need to have different devices to wake them up or check if they are still listening. So excellent teachers are needed for this, and empowering every day is a part of funny teaching qualities. So the first thing is that you need communication skills, and more you do the blended learning or hybrid teaching, more you need the communication skills, especially with parents, and how you can support them with verbal, writing, visual, or body language. So you need to start using all these different channels of information to things. So mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, and the great teacher inspires, said William Arthur Ward. Friendly attitude is the big thing. So when you are online and doing things in different phase, you need to support the students so that they feel comfortable in their learning space, and they can perform the best in their abilities. So the most important thing is that the friendly attitude can contribute making you a memorable teacher, and people will never forget how you made them feel. So this is one worldwide known educator, Maya Angelou, says that but people will never forget how you made them feel. And then you need to be very, very patient, because everything can go wrong, and it's always the worst things what happen. So you need to be very patient, and by being patient, you give the example to the students, and you teach them also the patience, and it's the most thing. But people say that teaching is like walking in the park, if that park is Jurassic Park. So that is the reality behind that. And then you need the strong work ethic. Whatever you do, you need to be as ethical and as professional as possible. Then you need organizational skills. These are two different teaching facilities for remote teachers, and you see that they have blackboards and they have whiteboards, and they have different tools what they have been creating in their studio, and that is something what need to be organized, and it also need to be organized on the net. So what you focus on will grow. So learners also need to specify their learning spaces, and where they can study at home is their peace, agreement with children, and instructions for parents. And the most difficult thing is the scheduling the time at home. So the time management is the one big thing. So they need the very strict schedule and something what they can check their timing. So timing tool like egg locks or timers are much needed in this phase. So when you give the documentary, give quick instructions and use the KISS method. So keep it short and simple. If you are relying on spoken instructions, you always need to give them written, video, picture. So different medias need to be used. So every student need to know what to do. So white teachers create an environment that encourages students to teach themselves. Yes, but every teacher is teaching like they have learned. And that is the biggest challenge for you. Now you need to learn of the things, because learning at home, there are plenty of new variables, new learning environments. The pupils are different young ones than in your future. The parents have different ways. The teacher has plenty of different things to learn, new working methods, new curricular goals. And the first thing is that you need to change your things. So the first challenge is that you need to find the right algorithms, how to evaluate the learning with the traditional evaluation tools, what kind of outcomes you can evaluate with the new tools, what kind of outcomes you can develop. As I said, 10% in the beginning is enough when you are changing your learning methods. Secondly, you need to have a mindset change. In the beginning, it looks like this. The first semester is pain. Second semester, you are already as a professional using these, and the third semester will give you this kind of golden gliders status. So then you already know what to do and you have enough skills. Third challenge is sharing and reusing. So online groups like Facebook groups or other special interest groups or teachers groups globally, you can find plenty of sharing materials, reusing content, and also experiences. When you are a member of any of these groups, you can ask questions and you get plenty of different kind of answers. So be connected, be sharing. So online interactivity is the fourth change. So when you have something you have succeed, start sharing these experiences, because everybody is in the same phase than you. And then the fifth challenge is that you need to create the strong ICT support team in your institute, innovative e-learning team, and inspired educators. This is something you need to do. More training online, you can find my courses from the www.mobiacademy.fi/en/shop. You can find my courses of distant learning and mobile learning ABC, which is about 50 hours course, and Finnish education secrets is about 80 hours course of pedagogical change and development of the thing. You can do it. We have done it. So thank you very much for your interest. Any questions?
Dear participants, please feel free to ask if you have any question or query. Sir is always available for us to help and support.
Good evening, Sapna ma'am and sir. Ma'am, I had one question for sir.
Okay.
May I?
Yes, please.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, in today's session, you have shown various kind of, I can say, the technology that can be used in a very creative way, so that the teachers, if they use it, they can teach the students using that technology to make it more interesting and live. And moreover, the children love to even having that thing. But the question of mine here is, the teachers are not very techno savvy, so like how to motivate them, because giving the training sessions all the time is not possible, as in stakeholders. So is there any other thing like in terms of motivation? Because motivation is something, I guess, like which once done needs a regular continuous follow up. Like if we train anyone or we motivate any a teacher, so at for that short duration of time they might do it, but yes, after certain interval of time again they need that. So can is there anything else that can be done for them, sir?
Very good question. The main thing is okay. I turn it around, because what we did in Finland was that, and in my school, for example, we had similar kind of challenges with the new technology and new ways to learn. And what we did was that we activated the students to be this kind of uh, support persons. So we were training voluntary students to support and help teachers and students in these areas. And as I said, it doesn't mean that you have to turn everything once online, because that's a big mess. But when you start taking it step by step, then it goes. But the main thing is that the whole education institute is using the same steps. So you can't just say that okay, everybody can use these all these 100 different devices, because from students' point of view, it means that they then need plenty of different passwords and things, and they will get different skills trained. So the teachers need to be united in this area, that everybody makes the same steps, and then it starts to develop. When everybody is using, they get different kind of experiences, and when they are sharing the experiences, then they will know. But when they are doing this work, it's like a reflection coming from the students, because the students also start to help, because they know that everybody will start to learn these things. It has happened
Thank
in
you
many
so much,
places.
sir. Thank you
You
so
need to
much.
use the whole society. I wouldn't put parents in the beginning, but the students are very flexible, and they all have these devices and different experiences, and they are very good teachers to teachers, and especially their peers. So we always say that when you let the children to teach these things, then everybody understands, because children are speaking children's language to each other, and then everybody understands what is needed.
Very true, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the explanation.
Thank you. Any
Is
other
there
question?
anybody else who would like to question? So today we have few educators from universities as well. So would you like to address them? Would you like to give some tips to them as well?
Uh, the universities are very much in the similar situation. Of course, the students are adults, and they are, could say, responsible persons, and you can either agree with them or kick them out. But the big thing is that when you have, or other way around, so if you start using this kind of online teaching, the challenges are similar in every level of education. So the biggest challenge, what we have found here in Finland with the university teachers, is that anyway, the university teachers also need to take responsibility of their students in the beginning, because there's plenty of research done also that when you turn your teaching from the traditional teaching to online teaching or blended learning, that means from the student's point of view that the student need to learn more than a dozen new skills before they can really understand and get into the content of the material. And that is something what is quite often forgotten, that if you are doing the first time online teaching, that means that your students are also novice in that area. So the first times are very, very important. And that's why, for example, research says that in open courses, those MOOC courses, multi-organized open courses, the dropout range is more than 95%. And that's only because nobody is expert from birth. They need to learn these basic things. And if they are not supported in this process, they will drop. And this is the big problem with universities, because the students can't graduate because they don't know how to study online. And that is the big challenge. Also in states, I've trained quite a lot of state universities also, and this is the basic thing, that you need to take care of your students. Otherwise, they will drop and you can't get them through the courses.
Very true, sir. Absolutely agree to you. Even the same situation is here in India. So once again, sir, I would like to say thank you so much for giving your valuable time to us and to guide and address the gathering in such an easiest way, where we really understood the meaning and importance of blended learning along with the curriculum in our educational aspects. Once again, I would like to say, sir, thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for being available. SK Educare India, and you are really such a great pillar and very important pillar in the strength of SK Educare India. You're contributing always so well in all the events.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm very appreciated, and it's my pleasure to help. If I'm needed, I will be here. Thank you.
Looking forward for many more sessions with you, sir, to help and support to the educators of the world.
Thank you. I will do my best.
Once again, thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much all the participants to join our hands in the journey of learning together. We all are the learners. And it seems like, how good experts do we have with us, like Petri, sir. He's always available. If you have any query or any questions in connection to blended learning, please feel free to write us. We will forward to Petri, sir. Or even you can write it directly to Petri, sir. If you need his contact details, I can surely share for that as well.